Hi, my name is Al, and welcome to my Midnight Reviews. In this series, I'm gonna talk about action figures that I can't shoot during the day for one reason or another, and we'll be starting with this one. Bunny Girl Aileen is an original character created by the Chinese toy company Snail Shell. They've been producing a lot of interesting action figures lately, along with some soft goods and accessories. We're also gonna look at the Bunny Cyclone to see if it's worth getting along with Aileen. To be honest, I didn't have a good experience with my first Snail Shell figure, but I hope that would change after this review. Bunny girls are among the most common tropes in manga and anime. Every female character in this medium has had an artwork, official or not, depicting them in a bunny costume. Just by looking at the box art, I can already say that this figure has peak fan service vibes, but does it perform well as an action figure? Let's find out. Inside the box is a leaflet with promotional images for their upcoming products. There's also an instruction manual for the accessories and swapping out parts. It's mainly written in Chinese with English translations. You also get spare hand joints. On the plastic case are holographic stickers that help indicate whether this had been opened or not. It says void once you take the sticker off. The box for the Bunny Cyclone is exactly the same and comes with a leaflet, an instruction manual, and hollow stickers. The parts are covered in plastic and needs assembling. Aileen is well protected with small pieces of plastic at the joints. At first look, I'd say this figure has a nice sculpt and the paint finish is impressive considering the price point. I can say straight away that this would be a delight to play with. The white parts are in a glossy white paint finish and is in contrast with the matte finish on the skin. I can't see any glaring paint imperfections or paint bleed, and it looks consistent from top to bottom. The best part of the sculpt is the bunny suit. Attention is given to her back as we can see the suit digging into her bum, while tiny creases elevate the suit by adding texture at the sides and front. Her face is nicely painted with a bit of gloss on the lips and has pink printed eyes. The hair has a glossy finish as well, with white highlights creating a dynamic effect. The bunny tail is velvety in texture, which is unnecessary but gets positive points for detail. There's a bit of a problem with her arms as they're somewhat short, making it slightly out of proportion with the rest of her body. The skin is painted, and I love that it's a bit red on her thighs where the straps are. Anatomy-wise, the thigh gap seems a bit unnatural from the front, even if you pose her legs slightly closed. But this is a minor issue that you'll soon forget once you start doing action poses. While the legs and torso have great sculpt, the arms may seem to lack shape, but I'm thinking this might be the Chinese aesthetic when it comes to women. Let me know what you think about the arms in the comments section down below. The legs and thighs have a feminine shape with great attention to detail on her feet as we see part of the toes there. Overall, the proportions look better than Saori from Snail Shell's Sandhouse line, which had smaller hands and feet in comparison to her tall and chunky body. Adding a millimeter or two to the arms would have made Aileen better. But for what it's worth, this is a great figure in terms of sculpt and paint finish. Head can fully turn, with great side-to-side motion. She can look down this much and look up a lot. The neck has extra movement on the upper part. Her hair has a swivel joint and can also rotate. Arms can go all the way up to make a Y pose, has a little bit of a butterfly movement, and shoulders can rotate fully. There's rotation on the upper arm, but this could cause a gap and would need pushing in. You can rotate the armband. Hands have full rotation and can swivel. Arms bend more than 90 degrees, which is good, and this is how it looks like at the back. The torso can swivel side to side and has a bit of rotation. She can bend forward this much and bend back this much. There's not much movement there as she only has a single joint. She has good hip movement. Legs can go forward great but not much going back as it's hindered by her bum. She can do a full side-to-side split. There's full rotation on the thighs, and legs bend more than 90 degrees with a double joint. Her feet has full rotation, can swivel forward and back this much, and allows you to pivot, although there's no toe bend. The articulation is good and slightly above standard when you compare it to other figure lines, thereby allowing you to do a lot of complex poses. The joints move smoothly, and there's no need to hit them up. There are parts where sculpt is prioritized over articulation, foregoing the joints on the lower abdomen and lower neck. The figure makes up for this by having a swivel joint for the head, allowing her to have a good range of movement on that area. The bum is sculpted with the thighs and will look good in certain poses and angles, but as soon as you bend it from the back, you'll have awkward gaps and shapes. Her weight is balanced so you can have her stand up even with her heels on, although you'll need a stand for more complex poses, or you can pose her with the Bunny Cyclone. Overall, it retains the sculpt and silhouette even in extreme positions, so the decision to focus on sculpt on some areas is justified. Aileen comes with a smiling face already attached and a winking face with her tongue out. The eyes for both faceplates can be moved using this tool. If you have OCD, this could be a pain to do because it can be difficult to fix the eyes in the right position. The eyes could look a bit messed up if you can't do it right. You can swap the faceplates by pulling off the attached hair and faceplate and replacing it with the extra faceplate, making sure you align the slots. She has 4 pairs of hands, pair of peace sign hands, pair of slightly opened hands, holding hands with a relaxed finger, another pair of holding hands, and pointing hands which are a tad smaller than the rest. I find it tricky to replace the hands because the joint connection is slanted and it's easier to somewhat pull them off from the connection instead of the peg. Her bunny tails have a velvety texture and the spare one has no hole at the bottom. The one attached out of the box has a hole, so you can use it with the stand. The velvety texture is nice but unnecessary because it just attracts dust and color is off from the rest of the figure. She has a pink mobile phone with some graphics at the front and the carrot logo at the back. She also has a pink handgun with a somewhat similar shape from the mobile phone. The phone goes into the holding hands like this, while the handgun goes into the other pair like this. Lastly, we have the stand with a hexagonal base, and once assembled, it should look like this. The amount of accessories are okay and enough to do a lot of poses, but looking at the hands closely, you'll see that they're not uniform in size, with some of the hands being bigger, while some are way smaller than the others. They're probably reusing the same sculpt for these hands from their previous releases, which makes sense to cut cost, but after looking at the shots, I think the size issue is barely noticeable. The Bunny Cyclone is an add-on you can buy separately for Aileen. It comes disassembled, but you can simply follow the assembly instructions on the manual, and you shouldn't have any problems building this thing. The knife with transparent blade goes into this part. It's a nice accessory to play and display Aileen with. It looks like a rabbit with articulated mecha ears at the front. Fluorescent paint was used on some of the parts so it will glow if you shine black light on it. Decals further add visual interest into this simple design. The wheels also rotate, And overall, the glossy paint finish complements Eileen's bunny suit. The box shows her posed like this, but getting her to actually sit down might look a bit weird. In this mode, her hips would have to be opened wide, which personally I don't think looks good. Or you can also have her sit this way. I think the best way though is if you remove the two side panels so she can tuck her legs in closer and lean forward onto the bike. I'd top this off by folding the ears neatly at the sides. This makes her more aerodynamic and faster if this was a real bike. Let me know in the comments what you think about this setup. I gotta say though that my favorite part are the knives. It makes you think twice if you see a seemingly harmless character wield them. If Snail Shell included the knives in their regular release, I probably would not have gotten the bike. Overall, I don't think the Bunny Cyclone is an essential accessory for Aileen. It's nice to have the knives, but otherwise the clear stand should suffice. This figure's head height is around 16 cm and 18 cm if you include the bunny ears. As a 1:12 scale action figure, this makes her 6 feet 3.6 inches tall in real life. Here's how she looks with SH Figuarts Guts in Berserker armor and Revoltech Agent Venom. She's definitely tall and looks bigger than these two. Here's Savage Crucible's Royal Guard and Yep Studios' Date Masamune. Lastly, here's Figma Ronin and Lance Reiter. Figmas look like kids when compared to this figure. Even Revoltech and SH Figuarts look off-scale, so if you're thinking of head swaps with these brands, it wouldn't work. She'll probably look better side by side with Marvel Legends and Mezco. Bunny Girl Aileen is a nice looking figure at a cheaper price range, even including the Bunny Cyclone. I don't think it's essential, but it's nice to have and you can use it with other action figures as well. I don't like the slanted hand joints as it's a pain to swap hands with them, and the velvety bunny tail is an absolute dust magnet. But I guess this will be down to personal preference. The eye gimmick is great because you don't need a lot of faceplates. The downside is that it can sometimes be a bit tricky to get both eyes straight, so if you have a bit of OCD, it's gonna crack you up. The beautiful torso sculpt makes up for the lack of articulation. The overall silhouette looks great, and the paint finish further elevates the sculpt by providing different shading. It's as sexy as a bunny girl should be. Despite the somewhat shorter arms, Bunny Girl Aileen is an improvement from their Sandhouse line in terms of proportion. And if you're into customization, the body could be a good base for a custom. Overall, I think this is one of the best representations of the bunny girl trope in action figure form so far, and if you're not that worried about scale, it makes sense to have this on your shelf. So, what do you think? Would you buy this bunny girl, and if you already have it, what's your favorite part or feature? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.